Hi everyone, walking along Torreby Gardens and Torreby Meadows this evening to record this little intro for our next artist catch-up video. Thank you to everyone who watched and shared the interview with Fiona Hiscock. It's been really nice to see all the feedback and that everyone's enjoyed that little conversation we had with her. Just a little update on where we are. Obviously a bit more guidance came out at the first half of this week, so we're now aiming to, hopefully, provided everything goes as planned without any delays to easing lockdown, we're looking to reopen in July. We do have an exhibition planned for that with Simon Fowler. Our basement has been finished as of today as well, so the floor's gone down, final touches have been completed there, so hopefully we'll be able to bring you a little update video of that space too, just to show you what that new room looks like. Today's video is a conversation with Roanna Monaghan, who is a printmaker based in Scotland, who joined us for the design room for the short time it was open, and is not an artist who we've had the pleasure of meeting before, so this is a really lovely opportunity to get to know her that we probably wouldn't have otherwise had if it weren't for the circumstances. Obviously this was back in the end of April, so we were still in lockdown, and we had a conversation about how her work has changed with sort of a lack of access to the scenes that normally influence her work, the new ventures that she's taking online, and in a really lovely way that she is raising money as well for the NHS. So yes, hope you enjoy this next conversation with Roanna Monaghan, and looking forward to releasing more of them in the coming weeks. Bye for now. Time ever, people really sincerely are actually asking, how are you?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Every email I've got, it's been really asking how everybody is, and even if it's just to, these big companies and you're just sort of asking a question, they are genuinely sort of worried about everyone. But yeah, I am really well. I'm lucky I'm got my health and everything, and I live in quite a remote area of the UK, so it's quite easy to avoid big crowds of people, and when I do go outside, it's easy to avoid sort of bumping into anybody. So that sounds really like remote. It's not that remote, but we do live really close to lovely woods and beaches, so I'm still able to enjoy the outdoors, which is nice. And I know a lot of people aren't, so I totally feel for everybody who can't enjoy that kind of thing.
It feels like quite a privileged position, doesn't it, when you live in a rural area or...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, it would be great to live in a big bustling city, but I've done that before, and at this point I'm really glad I'm where I am. So yeah, I'm quite happy. But yes, I'm well, thank you.
So whereabouts are you exactly?
So I live in Elgin, which is the northeast of Scotland, sort of in between Aberdeen and Inverness, the sort of midpoint up there. And it's actually, the weather's been glorious, so I cannot complain at all. It's been brilliant. Since we've been in lockdown, it's been sunshine and it's just lovely. So yeah, it's a nice coastline up here, which I know is the same down where you are. I was there last year, which is a lovely part of Britain as well. So yeah, quite similar. So yeah, the opposite ends.
Oh, wonderful. Nice to hear that you've been able to visit us in the past.
Yeah.
So obviously everything is quite different at the moment. Everyone is adapting. So how would you say these very unforeseen circumstances have impacted your practice?
So I'm quite lucky in that I work from home anyway, so I can still print from my home studio. It's definitely been quieter, and I think my sort of day-to-day routine has been quite different. But I'm able to sort of focus more on like my technique and sort of new print releases, which has been great. And sometimes I know, sort of running up to Christmas and just after Christmas, I was quite busy with commissions and things, so I didn't really have a lot of time to work on anything new. So it's been nice actually to have a bit of sort of space to do that. I also started a Patreon page. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but it's like an online platform that you can share your process and your studio and everything. So I wouldn't have actually done that unless we were in lockdown. I was going to be starting to do sort of workshops and stuff, but that's obviously all just kind of fallen through this year. So this is a kind of different sort of way to do that virtually. So yeah, if we weren't in lockdown, I would have done that. So that's something quite different. But generally, it's been more or less the same for me, which is good.
Excellent. So not too interrupted, but still a chance to try some new things.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's been good.
A new venture on Patreon is probably an exciting thing to be doing as well.
I mean, I've been a sort of a member of it for quite a while, and I follow a few different artists, and I find it really cool actually, because you can get paid for posting things and sharing things. So people who really want to find out about your process and maybe more about printmaking or learn something new, then they are like willing to invest in it. So it's great to be able to share it, and people are happy to like pay you to do it. So yeah, it's really great. I'm glad I've done it, and I think I'll just keep doing it, because even once we're out of lockdown, I think it's a really good platform to share like globally. So that's nice.
Beyond your practice then, I think it's a mixed bag for different people in different situations. Some people are finding that they suddenly have a huge amount of free time. Others are finding that there's lots of other strains that reduce that at all. What's your free time like? Either expanding from your practice or outside of your arts?
Yeah, well, I've actually taken up knitting in the last sort of few months. I ordered like this pack before Christmas, and then since lockdown, it's just kind of like the perfect thing to sit and do at home if you're not doing anything else, or it's really good to do out in the garden or whatever. So I've been knitting quite a lot. But luckily, obviously, I live where I do, and I can still get outside, even if it is just with my dog, and we can go for a nice walk, albeit not as long or as far as we usually would go. But yeah, I'm still able to sort of go out and do that kind of thing. But I think it's just appreciating time at home. Like, we're probably not going to get to do this ever again, hopefully, but appreciating the time just at home is quite a nice thing. And there's not really many plans in the future at the moment, so it's kind of unknown, but I'm not too worried at the moment about it, and I'm enjoying just kind of taking each day as it comes and see what the future is after that. Taking
little positives out of this situation is really important as well.
Absolutely.
So you talked a little bit about how your practice has been affected, a few new techniques maybe to try, and other digital platforms you're looking at. Is there any other way you're responding creatively at all? Yeah,
well, I'm actually I'm every Thursday. Sorry, I'll start again. But basically, when I feel kind of like a block in creativity, I do like watercolor painting and little illustrations. So I sort of feel myself doing that on Instagram or whatever, and people seem to like them, and sort of it went from that. And so every Thursday on my Instagram stories, I've been selling these little little illustrations, and then £5 from it goes to the NHS charities Together charities. So I sell them for like £7 or something. They're really cheap. And I just pop them in a post, and then £5 from the sale goes to the charity. So that's, I'm kind of using my creativity to raise some money, because I do feel a bit like silly sometimes just at home printing, and there's so many other people with such more important jobs that are really helping. So I felt that I should be kind of doing something as well. I also do own a sewing machine, so I won't go as far to say I've sewn any scrubs together, but I have made some scrub bags. So they're really easy to do. They're just rectangle, and they can put all their scrubs inside them to go into the wash. So I've been trying to make some of them as well. So yeah, I'm just trying to like help the local kind of community as much as I can, but my sort of skills are quite limited in that sense. So
it's a different way that I think that artists are able to support those frontline workers and people who need that support at the moment, and being able to use your creativity in whatever way you can to do that is a really great thing.
Yeah, it's just so easy to raise money, really, and I think that's. I mean, I obviously don't raise a lot at the moment, but like last week I raised £15, and then I'm going to do it again on Thursday. But to be fair, last week I only had 3 little watercolors up, so this week I've done a lot more. So hopefully we'll get a lot more to send in. But I just, like every little bit counts, doesn't it? So yeah, it's nice to just feel like you're doing something, albeit really little. But yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's many parts, isn't it? I think everyone has a small role to play, whatever that might be.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's excellent. So you've already said that you're in quite a sort of isolated area of the country, and there is sort of a bit of a running joke that you sort of see across social media that for an artist, the idea of social isolation is it's nothing new. Quite often artists are accused of being quite reclusive or hiding away in their studios. Is that something that applies to you, or is this probably quite a new experience to you to be cut off or having to be distance from people?
Yeah, no, I can totally relate to self-isolating. I think I obviously, this is quite different. I obviously really miss my family and my friends, but I think I work from home anyway, so that has kind of prepared me for it. Even doing research, like I said, I can still do that from sort of my house. I can walk to places to get inspiration, albeit it's a lot quite coastal here, and a lot of my usual prints are like mountainous from the Scottish Highlands, so I'm kind of having to stick closer to home, and for like mountain ones I'm just using like imagery or sort of memory of things. But yeah, no, it's been fine. I think I've learned to sort of enjoy my own company, and I think that's quite important. And I'm glad, well, before we've gone into lockdown, that I've sort of managed that. My partner works away quite a lot of the time, so I'm quite used to being by myself anyway. And yeah, I think it's important to just enjoy your own space and your own thoughts, because sometimes you do find yourself in these situations when you're on your own. So yeah, it's important to be happy and content in that. So yeah, it's fine. It's fine being in the isolation at the moment. But yeah, I don't want it for too much longer. I do miss loads of friends and family, and hopefully that we can all be together again soon. But we'll just have to wait and see.
I think from that, are you isolating by yourself, or are you with other people in your house?
Yeah, I live with my husband and our dog. So my husband's a key worker, so he does work during the day, or if he's on night shift. So he is working just as usual. So most of the time it is just me and my dog at the moment. So yeah, I do find myself talking to him a lot more. But it's also good, like, we're so lucky to have FaceTime and all these sort of online platforms that you can speak to people and see their faces. We've managed to get my grandparents using it. So, it's good to still be able to chat to people. And I feel like I've heard a lot of people say this, but you do find yourself talking to sort of friends and family more, because you're not going to see them for a while. So yeah, I've been sort of in contact with people a lot more than maybe I would if we were meeting up as usual. So yeah.
We've all suddenly remembered that these technology and these tools exist. It's as though we'd forgotten that we can video call people whenever we want to.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or reach long distance family and
I know, I've got a quiz night every Saturday night that I'm like involved in now with some of my friends who I'm close with a few of them, but I don't usually see them because they live on the West Coast. But now every Saturday night we're in this quiz, and it's quite nice because it's people that I actually wouldn't speak to every week, and now we are like communicating and seeing each other every week for a bit of fun. So that's nice as well.
We've done a few online quizzes as well. What's been your sort of, I don't know, most out there quiz round that you've had?
Oh my gosh, the most out there. Well, was it last week we all had to dress up as animals? So we did manage to sort of rake out some onesies that we hadn't used for a very long time. And we were quiz masters last week in our family quiz. Honestly, we have about 4 quizzes a week. It's exhausting, but I feel very knowledgeable. But yeah, we did a quiz last week, and we were the masters, and we did a round on the British Isles. And our family, some of them live down in Yorkshire, they found it very difficult. So I was quite concerned at the lack of knowledge that they had on the area that we lived. So that was really funny. But yeah, no, I don't know. There's so many funny things that you can come up with, and so much movie trivia, and it's good. It's good fun.
Oh, wonderful. That sounds really good. Any other ways that you're staying connected to people or the rest of the world and during this
I mean,
time?
I'm not really a big, well, I am a big user of social media. I don't necessarily think it's always a good thing, but I think at this point in this year, it's just kind of necessity, isn't it? And some things, obviously, it's good to just flick past. But yeah, it's just nice to keep in contact with everybody. And you know, the nice thing about social media is all the sort of memories and pictures that you've had from previous years. So, you know, it's been able to sort of look back and think like what you were doing this time last year. But yeah, generally just keeping in touch with people who I know who live by themselves. Because it must just be really difficult. But I know that most of my friends who are living on their own are, you know, doing sort of really well in keeping themselves busy. And like I said earlier, like just sort of feeling a bit more content with their own sort of company.
We are all very resilient. I think even people who might be in quite vulnerable situations, who are alone, and particularly when you've got, you have, I think there's been such a strong emphasis on communities and people sort of stepping in to help.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I did try and volunteer. There's like local food banks and things, but our one's not. They've obviously just got so many people volunteering already, so they don't need any more people. Which obviously I was a little bit disappointed that I wasn't able to help, but it's great that they have.
Yeah, I think absolutely. Like you say, it's it's good to have to be disappointed because you're not needed because of an excess.
Because there's so many other volunteers. Yeah, absolutely.
So, is there anything else you're doing differently? Has the situation forced you to change your work or change your day to day at all?
It's made me sort of be able to work more for myself. And what I mean by that is sort of creating prints that are not sort of commissions or they're not reprints of, you know, popular ones that I already have. So I'm able to, do sort of a bit more extensive research into sort of larger scale prints that I want to bring out in the next couple of months. Mostly, so my printing press that I have, which I bought last year, it's only a A3 size printing press, so I have to keep kind of small scale. It's still big enough for me, I think, and especially when like posting things, I much prefer to keep it smaller. So that's been quite nice to be able to work a lot more on them rather than sort of orders. Like obviously I love getting orders through from people. I have quite a big following, and they my like popular things that they buy are lampshades. So I hand make them all and print them all myself and then post them out. But they're like, it's quite a big box and I have to go to like a click and collect sort of drop off point. So I try and keep, my delivery sort of outings like to once every 2 weeks kind of thing, because I don't want to be in the public for too long. And yeah, I just don't want to be going there all the time like I used to. So that is really different. I have to manage my kind of time a bit better because I've got to plan my week out so that I'm not going out the house too often for our business things. So I stick to kind of going out once a week to post things, or once every 2 weeks for sort of large parcels. So yeah, it's maybe something I'll keep going though, because it's, making me spend more time in the studio, and having a plan is a lot better. I used to just like finish something and then wrap it up and then take it to the post office and then come back and then do something else. So it actually has made me schedule my day out a bit better. But yeah, which is really good. It's been quite useful, and I think a better use of my time. So that's something I've learned, which is good.
It's really interesting, isn't it? I think to see that I think there's gonna be a lot of people who are in the same situation where you suddenly, everyone's learning at the moment, and it will be what practices we carry on with after this. I think that will prove to be beneficial long term. Is there any? I don't suppose you want to just take this opportunity as well to maybe talk a bit more about your work and what your art style is like?
Absolutely, yeah. So mostly I do lino block printmaking. So a lot of my carvings are to do with mountains and sort of mountain scenery. So I have a sort of series called the Mountain Trio, and I almost take like a sort of snippet of a famous mountain view and have that carved out. And I have about I have like 12 of them at the moment, all Scottish based mountains. I do go further afield mostly for commissions. So I've done one from like Rio from Brazil, and I've done ones in Spain for like a proposal sort of memoriam kind of thing. So yeah, I mostly work in the Scottish Highlands as my inspiration. But yeah, as more recently, obviously, I've not been able to sort of get out and explore that much. So my style actually recently has been a bit more like illustrative. So I've made a sort of it's almost like a memory of sort of my road to my parents' house. So they live in the middle of the Scottish Highlands, which is luckily only an hour away for me to get there. But this particular road goes through, it's called the Dava Way, and it's a very old road that they used to take supplies up north, and they cut right through the Highlands kind of thing. It goes from Grantown Bay up to, I think it goes all the way up to Forres. And that particular piece of road, it's not massively hilly, but there's a lot of sort of old bothies and crofts that are derelict. Some of them obviously are lived in if they're farmers up there. But I've kind of, yeah, it's not a road that I've been on for a long time now. So I've made a print of that recently, and it's quite illustrative. So it's got sort of pattern, and it's not a visual representation of what it looks like, but it's my sort of, you know, desire to get back on that road to go home again. So yeah, that's quite nice. I use a lot of pattern, a lot of carving techniques like lines, and sort of really illustrative pattern that's not necessarily realistic, but it always gives out quite a good effect once it's on. I do both sort of reduction lino prints and just normal one sort of color prints, and both are equally kind of satisfying. I'm doing a print at the moment it's actually much further afield. It's of a northeast India mountain side, Kanchenjunga. So I've got the same view, but I'm doing one as a single layer print and one as a reduction lino print. So that's something that I've been able to get on with during lockdown, because it's not anything anybody's ordered. It's just I would like to do it. So it's been something I've been able to get sort of nearly finished, which is really exciting. So should we have that out soon, which will be nice.
Oh, wonderful! So some personal pieces, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're finishing all the interviews on a more light-hearted question. So that is what's on your COVID-19 playlist at the moment? What are you listening to in lockdown?
So something my husband is probably sick of hearing, but I've definitely played a lot of Lady Gaga. I don't know why. It's not something that I've not, been obsessed with her before or anything, but she's just really good. So I have a lot of Lady Gaga on my playlist. First Aid Kit, Fleetwood Mac. There's the soundtrack from Big Little Lies. That's a really good soundtrack. It's really long as well, so you don't have to sort of find another soundtrack after that. It's a really good one. If you've got a good chunk of time that you need to fill in with music, that's a really good one. There's another playlist I found that's really good. I found when I'm actually printing, it's called Serotonin. It's on Spotify, and it's quite sort of upbeat and like dancey music. But yeah, it's good when you know you're not going to know the words to any of the songs, so you don't get distracted and you can just get cracking on some work. So yeah, that's a really good one as well. But yeah, I listen to a lot of different sort of music, but those are kind of the main, at the moment, those are the main ones. And Lady Gaga, definitely. I think my husband is definitely sick of hearing that in the house.
I'm on board with some Lady Gaga.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Roanna. It's been really lovely to chat to you. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add at all, then please feel free to.
I hope that everyone just stays safe and stays at home until we're allowed to leave. And yeah, hopefully it'll just not last too much longer and we can all get back to normal.
Yeah, I think we're all hoping for that, aren't we?
Absolutely.
This is something that we're all going to get through.
Yeah, definitely.